Hey, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for coming out this morning.
Could you come on up to the microphones for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. I have only a few short statements. I'm going to be very brief. My name is Nathan Nelson. I was the former Director of Military Affairs for Congressman Matt Gaetz. Last Wednesday afternoon, two members of the FBI came to my house unannounced to question me about allegations surrounding Congressman Gaetz. They told me that members of the media reached out to them asserting that I had previous knowledge of Congressman Gaetz' involvement in illegal activities. They asserted that because of that knowledge, I resigned my position as the Director of Military Affairs. I'm here this morning to state that nothing could be further from the truth. Neither I nor any other member of Congressman Gaetz' staff had any knowledge of illegal activities. I've known the congressman for over 6 years when he was a state rep in the Florida House. I worked with him for 4 years as his Director of Military Affairs. Everybody here in Northwest Florida and the defense community knows that I had a planned departure. I left to continue supporting the military mission in a private capacity, helping to align the Department of Defense, defense industry, and academia for workforce development here in the Panhandle. This baseless claim against me leaves me further convinced that the allegations against Congressman Gaetz are likewise fabricated and merely an attempt to discredit a very vocal conservative. I welcome any other questions.
Well, what evidence have you seen so far, sir?
I'm not here to provide any degree of evidence in support of Congressman Gaetz, only to discredit these baseless allegations.
Well, that's the reason I'm asking, sir. If you are to try to discredit any kind of investigation or anything like that, what of the investigation do you know that can lead you to discredit the investigation?
I don't have any specific knowledge on the investigation or any of the facts that are involved with the investigation.
Now, you left in November?
End of October, that's correct.
October, okay. Yeah. All right, and why'd you leave then?
So, like I said, I had a planned departure. My involvement now is to continue supporting the military mission, to help align our community to support the defense mission here in Northwest Florida.
Have you been in contact with the representative or with the FBI, excuse me, since that initial encounter?
The FBI hasn't reached back out to me since Wednesday.
Do you have any knowledge of why you are the best person to be speaking today? Did the communications department or Mr. Gaetz' office ask you to come today, or how were you selected to do this press conference today?
I reached out to the congressman's office to let them know that the FBI came to the house, and to ask them if they had any other information regarding the media's claims and where any of that came from. Also to inform them that, hey, here's what I communicated regarding former staff members, my interactions with the staff that exist, just so that they have firsthand knowledge as to what I specifically said. It's clear that there are people out there that are making baseless allegations. I wanted to make sure that my words were direct from my mouth.
Can I ask you a question about your own background, sir? Are you now involved with a company that's doing some sort of defense-related work? And did, in fact, that company apply for and receive a grant from the Triumph Gulf Corporation?
We have not received a grant from the Triumph Corporation. We did an initial pre-application and found out that it was not appropriate for Triumph, which is fine. We're trying to do some startup here to bring a reutilized DoD supercomputer to Northwest Florida to help bolster the weapons development enterprise here.
Have you talked at all to the Department of Justice? Have they reached out to you yet?
Just the FBI that came to the house.
Do you have in your either official capacity with Gaetz' office or personally, did you have any interaction with Joel Greenberg, the tax controller out of Seminole County?
I've never met Joel Greenberg, and my first knowledge of his name came from the media reports that came out last Tuesday. So that was my first.
So if I can go back, I just want to make sure you applied, but then you determined you were not. Because I'm just asking about this because Triumph Corporation is the chairman is Don Gaetz, who's Matt Gaetz' father. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we weren't suited for that grant, so yeah, it wasn't supported. Yes, ma'am.
The information for today's press conference went out on the official letterhead of Congressman Gaetz, and you are not a current aide, you're a former aide. Can you explain why that would go out under his official letterhead for this press conference?
You know, I remain loosely affiliated with Congressman Gaetz' office as a military advisor, so in an unpaid capacity. And, you know, obviously, like I stated, I reached back out to Congressman Gaetz' office so that they knew specifically what I told the FBI and to ask them if they had any other information regarding the allegations that named me specifically.
Have you had the opportunity recently to speak to Congressman Gaetz himself since the allegation?
You know, I haven't had an opportunity to speak to Congressman Gaetz in several months.
So, sir, you're offering yourself as a character witness on behalf of Congressman Gaetz, right?
For what it's worth.
Okay, so knowing everything that you've read about the investigation and so forth, I mean, you say they're baseless.
I'm saying the allegations that that named me were baseless, and likewise, that kind of reflects on the allegations against Congressman Gaetz.
Well, I guess I'm asking whether or not you think the allegations against the congressman is baseless.
That's exactly what I just said. Yes.
Okay.
All right, last question. Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I've talked to several people, a lot of people saying at this point these are just allegations, but some people I spoke to say even if this isn't a criminal matter, that these alleged relationships, even if not illegal, speaks to poor character on Matt Gaetz and that he should not be representing our district. What's your reaction to that?
You know, I think that Congressman Gaetz has been a very, very vocal advocate for Northwest Florida. In the 4 years that he's been in office, a little over 4 years, he's been a powerhouse in D.C., advocating for the interests of Northwest Florida. I think the degree of attention that he's brought to issues concerning Floridians is very, very important, and I think he is a strong congressman, and I believe any allegations of him being involved in illegal activity are baseless. I think he spent the last 4 years drawing a tremendous amount of spotlight on himself and his activities, and I don't think that he would likewise be conducting anything illegal.
Sir, what kind of negotiations do you know about between him and...
paid consultant for him?
No, ma'am.
So it's just like a friendly, can you describe for us the relationship that you currently have as a former director with him?
Just as a as-needed advisor, if he chooses to reach out to me.
Unpaid.
That's correct.
Sir, what kind of negotiations
Thank you all
do
so
you
much.
know
I appreciate it.
that's happening to Mr. Gaetz and investigators right now?
A strange press conference here from Northwest Florida as we hear from Nathan Nelson, who says that he is an unpaid advisor to Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz. JB Buno here with you live in the WFLA Now Stream Center, bringing you this here from Santa Rosa Beach on the Florida Panhandle here. This was a press conference that was assisted in its organization efforts by the Office of Congressman Matt Gaetz. This was Nathan Nelson, as you heard there from reporters, essentially providing himself as a character witness, describing a little bit about what he interprets as the character of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, of course, having his character attacked quite a bit over the last week since a bombshell New York Times report, of course, cited 3 unnamed people briefed on an investigation into Gaetz. Gaetz allegedly paying to have a 17-year-old female travel with him, and the possibility of that travel and a possible sexual relationship with this 17-year-old female at the time that could have violated federal sex trafficking laws. Congressman Gaetz has attempted to discredit these claims and calls all of this completely baseless. And baseless was the word here used by Nathan Nelson here, but it's really important to note here and tell both sides of the story here, folks, because what we heard here from Nathan Nelson, who again describes himself as an unpaid advisor, says he hasn't spoken to Gaetz in months. He says he was contacted by the FBI and investigators with the FBI after media members mentioned him as a potentially having some information connected to the investigation into Gaetz. And Nathan Nelson came out here in front of his home, said that all of the reports that have come out, all the allegations are just, quote unquote, attempts to discredit a vocal conservative. He said that the allegations are baseless, but then when a reporter asked specifics, why are the allegations baseless? Nathan Nelson himself admitted he has no proof, he has no evidence, there's no specifics that he actually has on as to why these allegations are baseless, other than to say that really the defense community of Northwest Florida and his constituents, connected of course to the defense community in Northwest Florida, are standing with him. So Nathan Nelson here essentially providing himself just to speak to Gaetz's character, but not providing anything else, anything really of substance that points to anything that would exonerate him in any which way, shape, or form since that New York Times report came out. There's still, of course, no charges against Gaetz, nothing that has come out in an official capacity, all of this based on that New York Times report, and then sources, of course, telling the media a little bit of what's going on and why Gaetz is being investigated. But at this time, this is an ongoing investigation, clearly demonstrated here by Nathan Nelson saying that he was visited within the last couple of days, visited by investigators with the FBI to answer questions pertaining to the investigation into Gaetz that, again, is ongoing. So Gaetz here currently having his character attacked here in our nation's capital and across the country, as he is, again, the target of a reported FBI investigation into federal sex trafficking laws that might have been broken in connection to a possible sexual relationship that Gaetz had with a 17-year-old here in the state of Florida and elsewhere. Again, the 17-year-old female said to have traveled with him. So again, we're going to continue to monitor this story on WFLA.com, the WFLA app. We're going to have the latest for you tonight. If there's any new developments on this story, we'll of course let you know about it on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. More ahead in the hours ahead. We have Congressman Vern Buchanan speaking in Bradenton in Manatee County with an important update regarding what's going on with the wastewater situation in Piney Point. That's next on WFLA Now in about 10 or so minutes. We'll be right back.